What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time, we're going to be taking a look at The Howling, directed by Joe Dante. Now, I'm going to try and make this review as quick as I possibly can. The Howling is one of those movies that came out in the year 1981, along with American Werewolf in London. And these were the two werewolf movies that kind of like revitalized the werewolf movie genre. Now, personally, I think An American Werewolf in London is the better movie, but I also do like The Howling. Now, the reason why I say American Werewolf in London is a better movie because I think overall London has a much better storyline to it, has better characters to it, and has just to me a more has a more visceralness to it. Now, The Howling for me, I don't think it's as good story wise, but I do like it for what it does have to offer. I think Joe Dante, the director of this movie, he did a really good job with it. He did a really good job with it. I like the creepy atmosphere that he creates. I like the majority of the cast in this movie. Dee Wallace plays Karen White, the lead, and she's fantastic as she's always in a horror movie. You have Robert Picardo, who plays Eddie Quist, who's pretty much her stalker, and Picardo just comes across as just this really just creepy son of a bitch. Like Eddie Quist is a creepy, intense guy in this movie, and when you actually find out that he's a werewolf, it actually adds on to what Picardo was already bringing to the role of Eddie Quist in the few scenes that he's in, and it just upped him more as a threat. But I do like the performance of Eddie Quist. I love the scene with Dee Wallace and Eddie Quist in the porno theater. It's a very intense, uncomfortable, claustrophobic scene, and we don't see Eddie transform into a werewolf in this scene, but we hear it. We hear him transforming, and it's just a really good scene, well directed, very intense, very claustrophobic, just very eerie scene. Really like it a lot, and Dee Wallace's performance in that scene is great. Her performance throughout the movie, I think, is actually very solid. Her and Robert Carter, to me, are the two major standouts in this movie. I mean, the supporting cast is fine. You got Christopher Stone, who plays her husband, Bill. I think he is okay. You have you have the residents of this colony run by this doctor named Dr. Wagner, and I think Dr. Wagner. I think is a pretty good character. I like the whole concept of Karen going to a pretty much a colony retreat to get away from the city and away from her memories and the experience and the post traumatic stress she's suffering from. I like the idea of her going to this colony, and I like the whole revelation of the colony being a colony full of werewolves, which I thought was a pretty interesting idea. I like I like a lot of the in jokes in this movies where a lot of the main characters' names are actually based off directors of werewolf movies like Earl C. Kenton, George Wagner, and things like that, which I thought was great. I love that this movie got a legacy actor in John Carradine, who was infamous for being in those old Universal horror movies. John Carradine actually played Dracula for a while as well, so seeing him in this movie, great legacy, great legacy casting for me. Gives this movie to me some instant credibility. The visual effects, practical effects in this movie are fantastic. With the winner going to Eddie Quist's transformation when he's about to attack one of Karen's friends in like this little office area, and we see Eddie Quist transform into a werewolf. It's a beautiful, gnarly transformation scene. I just love the visual look of it. I love how we see his skin just start to bubble and transform into a wolf. It's you gotta watch it to believe it's a great scene. It's a great transformation scene. Not as good as the American Werewolf of London scene, but but that doesn't mean this is a bad. That doesn't mean this is bad either. Because this is a damn good transformation scene, and I like the visceralness of this movie too. I like how, for the most part, Joe Dante does not show the wolves all throughout this movie. You get like hints and quick flashes here and there, but we don't really see the wolves until we get to that big transformation scene with Eddie Quist and to the big revelation of the entire colony being a colony of werewolves. That's when we really see the werewolves come to play. I think the overall story, but I think overall, this movie does have moments where it kind of bogs down for a little bit. Like the first 20 minutes of this movie are okay, but they're okay. The movie doesn't really start to pick up steam until Karen goes to the colony. But even then, you have moments that kind of drag. You kind of got this subplot going on with this character called Marcia, who is who's seducing, you know, who's trying to seduce Bill, Karen's husband, and that's just whatever. It's just there. Doesn't really mean anything to me. Not only that, you got Not only that, you got this subplot with Karen's two friends who are like kind of doing research on like werewolf mythology and stuff like that. So that stuff is okay too. Nothing really interesting. Like from a story standpoint, this movie's not all that. To me, as a story, it's not the most interesting movie in the world. It's not boring, but I think from a story standpoint, American Werewolf of London is the much better made movie. But that's not to discredit The Howling by itself, because I think this is a damn good werewolf horror movie. I like the in jokes. I like the practical makeup effects. I like the acting. The story's a little bit, the story can be a little clunky here and there. And the whole idea of a colony of werewolves, yeah, you do get to suspend your disbelief enough. But I think the movie pulls it off well. So yeah, those are my brief thoughts on The Howling. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. It's one of the best, it's one of the better werewolf movies to come out in a very, very long time. And it's definitely worth the watch if you're a fan of werewolf movies like I am. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for The Howling. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I would like to know. Like the video and subscribe. And I'll check you back next time for more.